Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. It's our reading through the Tanak night, Wednesday night, the 20th of September 2023. I'll be reading out of the book of Isaiah. So you can go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening. We have like over 600 videos. It's a lot of information given through the videos. It's a lot of dots, a lot of information being connected. Um, and it'll lead you to the truth of the Holy Scriptures. If you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And for those that want to support the channel, check out our cash app at the bottom of the screen. Okay. And for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. By that I mean that we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah, and we don't deal with the Messiah that's in the Old Testament and the New Testament. But Israel had a Messiah a long time ago when Samuel anointed David over Israel, and every king after that came out of David's loin. Okay, so we deal with the Torah, the first 5 books of the Old Testament, which were given to Moses by the daughter Hosea. It's the law, books of the law. Shalom and welcome to the channel. And welcome to our reading through the Tanakh segment. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, our prayer, Psalms, do some current events, then we'll do a little need to know information, and we'll go into our Q&A. Then we'll start dealing with the topic, reading out of the book of Isaiah, reading some chapters, and then breaking it down as we go. Okay, then we close out. So this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts, and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come before thee at this time, and we are honoring and worshiping thee. We are worshiping thee because of thy great steadfast as in might. Oh Lord, you delivered our forefathers out of the land of Egypt and Babylon with a show of great force. Oh Lord, you foretold that you would deliver us from the lands of our enemies, the Gentiles, just as your servant Daniel examined the book of Jeremiah and realized your coming. Oh Lord, you have opened our eyes to the books that have been hidden from us, and we have discovered that you foretold the prophets that you are coming to deliver us. We are waiting and seeking you, O Lord, at this hour, seeking and waiting for your return. Tarry not, O Lord, stretch forth thine hands upon our enemies, scatter them, and come from thy holy habitation, and turn back our captivity. Peace be on you. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna read a song right quick. Okay.
Hey, Leonard.
Yeah.
You got something on your mind with this songs, or these are songs I want you to really get into?
No, you can read it.
Is that all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to go to Psalm 72. Psalm 72.
Okay.
So my book says this is a psalm for Solomon.
Okay.
It says, "Give the king thy judgments, O God, and thy righteousness unto the king's son." Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Verse 2, he shall judge thy people with righteousness and thy poor with judgments. The mountains shall bring peace to the people, and the little hills by his righteousness. He shall judge the poor of the people. He shall save the children of the needy, and shall break in pieces the oppressor. They shall fear thee as long as the sun and moon endure, throughout all generations. He shall come down like rain upon the mowed grass, and showers that water the earth. In his days shall the righteousness flourish, and abundance of peace, so long as the moon endureth. He shall he shall have dominion also from the sea to sea, and from the river unto the ends of the earth. They that dwell in the wilderness shall bow before him, and his enemies shall lick the dust. The kings of Tarshish and of the isles shall bring presents. The kings of Sheba and Seba shall offer gifts. Yea, all kings shall fall down before him. All nations shall serve him. For he shall deliver the needy when he crieth, the poor also, and him that hath no helper. He shall spare the poor and the needy, and shall save the souls of the needy. He shall redeem their souls from the deceit and violence, and precious and precious shall precious shall their blood be in his sight, and he shall live, and to him shall be given of the gold of Sheba. Prayer also shall be made for him continually, and daily shall he be praised. There shall be a handful of corn in the earth upon the top of the mountains. The fruit thereof shall shake like Lebanon, and they of the city shall flourish like grass on the earth. His name shall endure forever. His name shall be continued as long as the sun, and men shall be blessed in him. All nations shall call him blessed. Blessed be the Lord God, the God of Israel, who only doeth wondrous things. And blessed be his glorious name forever. And let the whole earth be filled with his glory. 20. The prayers of David, the son of Jesse, ended.
Okay.
Question. So he said this is a prayer for Solomon, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Sheba, so Sheba, where it said that gold shall be brought unto him. So Solomon is the one that the Queen of Sheba came to gain wisdom and knowledge, and all these other nations had to bow down to him. So if I was to link that with, I believe, is that Isaiah? I'm gonna go to
Isaiah chapter 7 or 9 and 6.
7 or 9. I think it's 9.
9 and 6.
9 and 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David, and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. So this is what I'm saying. People will run to this scripture right here and speak about JC. But
Right.
one thing I always found out is that I haven't heard yet anybody ever go to Psalm 72 to understand
Right.
exactly who David was writing this for.
Right. Yeah. So David, uh, verse 20 sums it up. David is praying to the Lord of hosts for Solomon.
For Solomon.
Right. But what you just read in Isaiah 96, that ain't Solomon.
No?
No, that's Hezekiah. So you got to go back
Mm-hmm.
to that's where that's how they tricked us off. Or you got to go back to the
Mm-hmm.
covenant. Go to 2 Samuel chapter 7. 2 Samuel chapter 7.
Okay.
So it says, You know the story. David wanted to build a house for the Lord, and he couldn't. But Nathan
Right.
told him go ahead. But the Lord came at night and told him, "This is the covenant I got with David right here." Starting at verse 4. It came to
Right.
pass that night that the word of the Lord came unto Nathan, saying, "Go and tell my servant David, thus said the Lord, shall thou build me a house for me to dwell in, whereas I have not dwelled in any house since the time that I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even unto this day. But I have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle, in all the places wherein I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribe of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people Israel, saying, why build ye me a house of cedar? Now, here you go. Now, therefore, so shall thou say unto my servant David, thus said the Lord of hosts, I took thee from a sheepcote with following sheep to be ruler over my people Israel, and I will be with thee wheresoever thou winnest. And I have cut off all thy enemies out of thy sight, and I have made thee a great name like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel. Like it's the sun right here. This is where the covenant is. And I will plant them that they may dwell in the place of their own and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more at before time. And as since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, I have caused thee to rest from all thy enemies. Also the Lord telleth thee that he will make thee a house, right? That's his sons. And when thy days are fulfilled, when David died, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers. I, see that same thing in Isaiah 9:6. I will set up thy seed, that's Solomon, after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build me a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. And I will be his father. He shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away from before thee in thine house. So this right here is what he gonna always have a son out of David lineage on the throne. In thine house, in thy kingdom, David's kingdom, shall be established forever before thy throne shall be established forever. So we always gonna have a son out of David's lineage on the throne. And if it's not, it's a breach. That's what the New Testament is. JC ain't out of David's lineage. That's a breach. That's a breach in
Right.
Israel, right? So anyway, so when you understand that, you always got a son on the throne of David. So you go to where you was at, Isaiah chapter 9, right? So let me go to Isaiah chapter 9, and then you'll see that first of all, start out in chapter 1, first verse, the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah, David out of Judah, and Jerusalem in the days of, here go the sons out of David. It's always a son given. Uzi, Jocham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. Now go to chapter 9. Birth of the Prince of Peace. So we see right here that and I told you about 7. 7 was that it says it came to pass in the days, chapter 7, verse 1. It came to pass in the days of Ahaz, son of Jocham. See, we just read these men. Ahaz, Jocham, son of Uzi, king of Judah. So Ahaz on the throne right now. King of Israel went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but he could not prevail against it. And it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is a confederate with Ephraim, and his heart was moved, and the heart of the people as the trees of the woods move with the wind. Then said the Lord unto Isaiah, go forth now and meet Ahaz, thou and this is son, Sheshbaz, thy son, at the end of the side of David lineage, and at the end of the conduit at the upper pool in the highway of the fuller field, and say unto him, take heed and be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the two tails of these smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger of Rezin with Syria and the son of Remaliah, because Syria and Ephraim and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel. He got a breach. I told you, it's all, if it ain't out of David lineage, it's a breach in Israel. So this is what they came to do, to be taking evil counsel against thee, saying, let us go up against Judah, right, and vex it. How they gonna vex it? Let us make a breach therein for us, and set a king in the midst of it, even the son of Tubal. See that? They ain't out of David's lineage. This is the exact same thing they did in the New Testament. They put a breach in David's house by putting JC there. But anyway, so they dealing with Ahaz, right? So he tells Ahaz, the Lord host, you got to go all the way back to the covenant in 2 Samuel. Moreover, the Lord spake again unto Ahaz, saying, ask thee a sign of the Lord thy God. Ask it either in the depths or in the heights above. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt the Lord. And he said, hear me now, O house of David. See that? Is it not a small thing for you to weary men, but will you weary my God also? Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel, right? So keep going. That's the sign. So goes over to verse chapter 8. It says, moreover, the Lord said unto me, take thee a great roll, write upon it as a men pen. He's dealing with verse 14, the sign, right? A pen concerning Mahab Mashkabah. That's another son. David's Ahaz's son. They all out of David's lineage. And I took unto me a faithful witness to record Uriah the priest and Zechariah the son of Jeremiah. And we went unto his prophetess, that's his wife, and she conceived. This is the son right here, and bore a son. Then said the Lord unto me, call his name Mahal Mashkabah, for before the child shall have knowledge to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoils of Samaria shall be taken away before the king of Assyria. So those two kings will be destroyed. Now, Ahaz on the throne. We read Joktan, Uzi, Joktan, Ahaz. Now we in the reign of Ahaz. Now we go to verse 9. The birth of the Prince of Peace. Nevertheless, see, all three of those kings are wicked. So it's darkness in Israel. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in the vexation when the first be lightly afflicted in the land of Zebulun, in the land of Naphtali, and afterwards did more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, in the Galilee of the nations. The people that walked in darkness, that's called these three kings, have been in have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them have a light shine. Though thou hast multiplied the nations and not increased thy joy before with thee according to the joy in harvest, and as men rejoice when they divide the spoils. For thou hast broken the yoke of his burden and the staff on his shoulder and the rod of his oppressor, and in the day of Midian. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and the garment rolled in blood. But this shall be the burning and the fuel of fire. Here you go. It's Hezekiah. For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given. This covenant, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Prince, the Prince of Peace. Upon the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice henceforth and forevermore. Then just the zeal of the Lord hosts. This all he doing is performing the covenant. He told David, I'm gonna always have a son. It's gonna be some wicked ones gonna come and take them away from me. I'm gonna bring a son just like you, which is what Hezekiah is, that's what Solomon was. That was Prince of Peace. Then Hezekiah, he brought Hezekiah on the scene. Hezekiah reformed him, brought him back to him, just like Josiah did. And that's what they know. That's how they concocted JC. And that's why they're able to go back and pluck him in all these different places, saying that's the son. But he got a covenant. He always going to have a son on the throne of David. And not only that, he going to always bring one with David's countenance to bring them back to him. That's what Zerubbabel was. That make any sense?
Yes, sir. I got you. I got you.
Okay. Yeah, so it was something else I saw in there too. That was 72.
Right, 72. Psalm 72.
Okay, let me get it right quick. Yeah, it says, let that slide, man. 72 is, you read it. It's about peace. About peace. It was that's what he always does. He bring a son on the throne that brings him back to Israel, and he brings peace to the land of Israel. So it says, I think it's up there around 8. He shall have dominion also from sea to sea, and from river to river, and the ends of the earth. That and they that dwell in the wilderness shall bow down to him, and his enemies shall lick up the dust. Kings of Tarsus and the isles shall bring present to the king of Sheba, and Sheba shall offer gifts. Yea, all the kings shall fall down before him, all nations shall see him, for he shall deliver the needy when he crieth, and the poor also, and him that have no helper. He shall spare the poor and needy, and shall save the souls of the needy. And he shall redeem their soul from deceit and violence, and precious shall be the blood, shall their blood be in his sight. And he shall live, and he shall be given the gold of Sheba. Prayers also shall be made for him continuously, and daily shall he be praised. Yeah, well, it was in there where you read where he was the Prince of Peace.
Yeah.
You know, he was.
So is it his name? So 17. His name shall endure forever. His name shall be continued as long as the sun, and men shall be blessed in him. All nations shall call him blessed, and
Yeah,
blessed is he, the Lord God, the God of Israel, who only does wondrous things.
right. So what you see happening right here, David sowing this.
Mhm.
He's sowing this. He's sowing this.
Right, right,
He's speaking this on Solomon. And
right.
if you notice, you'll see this is where they got JC from up here. Starting at what I just read. He said,
Yeah,
uh, 9, they shall dwell in the wilderness and shall bow down before him, and his enemies shall lick up his dust. Then here you go. The kings of Tarsus and the isles shall bring presents. Ain't that what they did with JC? Bring presents. And
yeah.
the
That's
kings yeah.
sorry. No, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Say, yeah, and all the kings shall fall down before him. Same thing, that's where they get JC from. All the nations shall serve him, for he shall deliver the needy when he crieth, and the poor also, and him that have no helper. Then he shall spare poor and needy, and he shall save the souls of all the needy. That's what they got JC doing. You see that?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So that's when I was in First Kings,
Right,
um, looking up Solomon's situation. You know what I mean?
right.
It wasn't not the vessels of the temple, vessels of dedication. It was the wealth of Solomon. Or so what I was reading on was, dealing with the Queen of Sheba, so all the gifts that she brought, and what it was stressing was, and this is how it works sometimes. God gonna make me. This is how he humble me. Get back in that book, boy. Um, but I know it's around here. So when it's speaking about what, so as if like chapter 10, First Kings chapter 10, what was like, and when the Queen of Sheba had heard of the fame, so I gotta look at, so that means I gotta go back to 9 to understand the fame of Solomon, and this is where it's talking about how all these kings, what I'm saying, how even if I go to like chapter 9 verse 10, it says, and it came to pass at the end of 20 years when Solomon had built the 2 houses, the houses of the Lord and the king's house. Now Hiram, the king of Tyre, had furnished Solomon with cedar trees. So this is another king. He's given Solomon obeisance. You see what I'm saying? So That's that situation. But those
Hiram is tied to David. You go back to the story of David.
right.
Hiram,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Hiram tied to David, but at the same time, David was saying, so you know what I'm saying? It's like watching what's that movie? Like watching The Godfather. You know what I'm saying? So Michael fell into place of all the situations that his father had already set up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And his father was telling him, so we can read with Solomon. This is where they actually got the understanding. The scriptures right here when David was schooling Solomon. Huh?
You're in the Matrix. You're in the Matrix.
Shit. Can y'all hear
me? It's muzzled.
Yeah, service is horrible. It might be windy out here. Can you hear me now a little bit better?
I can hear you, but it's yeah, go ahead.
So it's like, you know, it's like in that movie where you know what I'm saying, the father was schooling the son as to all the people he's gonna be dealing with. David did the same thing with Solomon, right?
Yeah.
When Solomon came king, he was telling Solomon pretty much how to deal with what was the Lord of Hosts? His Lord of Hosts at the time. He was telling him how to,
Joab. He
was telling him how to deal with Joab. He was telling him how to deal with all of these types of people. So yeah, David was schooling Solomon on how to deal with them. You know, so of course all these people was gonna give Solomon obeisance because of David. You know, that's what I'm saying. So when I was reading that in 72, then going back to Kings and looking and seeing, oh, these kings came and gave Solomon obeisance.
Right.
You know, that's what I was stressing. That's what I'm stressing on. But even that in themselves, they would still take away Solomon's role and give it to JC. You see?
Right. And they can do that because they didn't demonstrate the understanding on all that. That's why they can do that. Because we even is what I was getting. I'm searching out right now. Is they got it's a book called The Acts of Solomon.
You know, so it's the Acts of Solomon.
Yes, a book called The Acts of Solomon, and like I was saying, that's where they're getting all this stuff from about JC. It's what happened with Solomon. What happened with Solomon? Because Solomon the one brought everything into existence as far as physically, our culture. When he brought the temple and all that Solomon did that. And that's why David, understanding that, David had all the provisions with the pool and the reaches that he had. He made sure all that was in place before he passed away.
Break that down. That's something that's very deep. You know, that's very deep, Leonard. I know. We got. So David thought he was going to build. In David's perception, he was going to build God a house. Nathan came to David and told him, "Thus saith the Lord." So was David supposed to feel salty? No. David made sure Solomon had every preparation he was supposed to have to build a house for the Lord. That's how it worked, right?
Right.
That's so Israelite, right?
Right. So if you go to Solomon prayer, okay. So let's get it right quick. Solomon prayer, right when he prayed for the temple. So let me get it. See, Solomon dedicated. Yeah, here you go, right here. Solomon dedicated the temple in chapter 8. We're starting at verse 12. Says, let me see. Then spake Solomon, the Lord said that he would dwell in the thick darkness. I have surely built thee a house to dwell in a settled place for thee to abide in forever. And the king turned his face about and blessed all the congregation of Israel, and all the congregation of Israel stood. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, here you go, which spake with his mouth unto David, my father, and have with his hands fulfilled his saying. Since the day that I brought forth my people Israel out of Egypt, I chose my city out of all of the tribes of Israel to build a house, that my name may be therein. But I chose David to be over my people Israel. And it was in his heart. Here you go. It was in his heart of David, my father, to build a house for the name of the Lord God of Israel. And the Lord said unto David, my father, we just read that, 2 Samuel. Oh, whereas it was in thine heart to build a house unto my name, thou didst it well, thou did it well, that it was in thine heart. Nevertheless, thou shalt not build a house, but thy son shall come forth out of thy loins, and he shall build a house unto my name. And the Lord hath performed his word that he spake. And I am risen up in the room of David, my father, and I sit on the throne of Israel as the Lord promised. And I have built a house for the name of the Lord God of Israel. And I have set thee a place for the ark, wherein the covenant of the Lord, which he made with our fathers when he brought them up out of the land of Egypt. There it is.
Yes,
Okay, I mean,
sir.
you can
There
see
it is.
constantly being mentioned. It's constantly being mentioned over and over again. And you know, like I said, because of the New Testament, and back in the day when we jumped down, you didn't see none of that. But it's all right there. So Solomon, even like I said, he got the Acts of Solomon. I don't know exactly where it was. Probably if you Google it, it mentioned it. Like you know, like other books in here, it mentioned the Acts of Solomon. So you think that's a coincidence? You got the Book of Acts, okay?
No, I think that's something that's definitely needed is the Acts of Solomon.
Right.
You know, that's
Right.
something that's something that everybody need to understand because you know, yeah, that's an interesting conversation, especially for us because them the only well besides Saul, Solomon is the only other Messiah that we ever seen in Scripture that was anointed
Right.
with the oil.
Right.
There's no other ones, right? I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, speak ignorantly. But as far as I read, there was no other ones that had the oil on them. So I think there's a lot missing all throughout these scriptures, you know what I'm saying, that they're leaving out. And that's how they was able to usher in JC. You see what I'm saying? So even in
Exactly.
the
Right.
canons that we're reading, there was certain ordinances that we know we were supposed to be going through. Because I'm pretty sure Solomon didn't have one child after him. So we don't read all of these that was anointed afterwards. And that was just a segue for us to not pay attention to that priestly order so we could
Right.
segue in JC's coming.
Well, right. Right. Exactly. And another thing about that too is you have to look at the fact that, like we kind of dealt with it the other day, but so, like the sons of Adam, it tells you Adam had a whole bunch of other sons. He didn't just have. I mean, the prime example is Dion. Look at Dion. He got 3 boys. They doing the do. It ain't just one. All of them got Dion DNA in them. So Adam got a whole bunch of sons. Adam, it came out his loins. But we just following a certain lineage, just like with David. So just like he told Abraham and these boys on earth today. So he says, he told Abraham, he told Isaac, he told Jacob, I'm gonna multiply your seed like the sands of the sea. Well, he told David that. So David got Negroes that out of David's lineage, multiplied. They all scattered, when they got scattered, they all over the earth. They out of David's lineage. Yeah. And nobody's really dealing with that, but I just lay low when it come
Right,
out. Yeah, but yeah, that's one
right.
of
Like that just like that shit just disappeared or something. You
yeah,
know what I
right.
mean? Like that DNA
They,
just disappeared.
they still here. And they're gonna be used. They're gonna be used in these last days. Like I was saying with the brother that I don't know, you wasn't on there last night, but the brother that over in Russia and just said that he's in talks with Russia about $300 billion reparation to give to African Americans, but it's certain things that certain people that hear it or come across it got to do in order to. So it's eyes that can see, ears that can hear. It ain't for everybody. Yeah. And I've been screaming that forever and a day. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be America. They're gonna try to come back after they do it. After just like what Cyrus did. After they do what they gonna do, then they gonna come back and try to backdoor them because it's a war about the Israelites who possessing them because of the blessings and who they are and the blessings that whatever nation they where they reside at, that nation is constantly being blessed. But they got the whole world thinking that those clowns over there in Israel the nation. So this guy is saying, next
Yo,
this time,
so that
yeah. Go ahead.
not know what I'm saying? That's what this whole bullshit that's taking place right now with we're natives is all about. People don't understand it. So it's
Right.
not even the fact that whether or not America is supposed to offer it up to people. America is the last place I would ever expect it from. But the understanding is the confusion that they want to give us is that you're native here. So what reparations do
Right.
you think you're supposed to get if the consensus is you're native? So let me start doing erasing critical race theory and all of these types of things, and then promote that you guys have always been here. So now let's create a bigger what's the word, confusion of face as to who actually came on the transatlantic slave trade.
Right.
So
Exactly.
this is what they do. This is Esau. You know what I'm saying? This is what he does. You know?
Right. Right. So back to that thing about David and all that. Because we've been hoodwinked and we ain't thinking like Hebrews and disconnect ourselves from the New Testament. So who you think Mansa Musa was? That was our day. And how we know that? They could crown. When he came with the crown on his head, he was telling the whole world right there. He's out of David's lineage. So then you say, what you talking about? How did he come to rule Mali? That's it, the Israelites. So the other king had 200 ships, 200 some ships he left with. This the part they took out. So they say they concocted some story because of what they did with Columbus, saying that those 200 ships, they just disappeared. One ship came back and said they went into some turbulence or whatever. But after that, they found a whole system set up just like the Mali Empire over here. So what would you think happened? That's them 200 ships. They found the exact same settlements in the same way that the Mali people set up the same kind of huts and those things they built, those little societies they had. They found the exact same settlements over here. The Israelites. They don't tell you that they hid all that. Them Mali, all those kingdoms right there, them Israelites. West Africa, like I was saying before, that's what we see right now. It's a major
Yo, they
part
still
of would say
huh? I'm not hearing.
that's a major part of our deliverance right now. That's why you see what's going on in West Africa. The Israelites. That's what we got to go back to. We got to go back to that place. From there, we got to go to our homeland. Backtrack the same way we came. Same way with Zerubbabel and Josiah, Zerubbabel and Joshua, and all them came back the same way. They went to Babylon and came back the same way. There ain't nothing new under the sun. Back on the ship, back to the West Coast, from the West Coast to where we at in the land of Israel when he called us in Zephaniah. But like I said before, nobody understands the fact that these people knew. They knew it's a certain place that the sons of David went. They knew that. It's like the daughters, David's daughters. They wasn't jumping, they wasn't greasing all up and riding on carts all the way across America to get to New Orleans on a certain day. Certain ships was coming. They knew all that. Yeah.
Finally, that's what I was waiting for. I finally could hear, but Satan trying to do his thing, but he can't. So this is what I always stress: is there was a certain point in time where they quote unquote said slavery was illegal,
Right.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
we acting as if we're seeing exactly how they was doing it even back then. There's this thing called smuggling. So these people are looking for slave ships. Nah,
Right.
these were ships that was so called just transporting
Right.
goods.
Right. Right.
So these ships was transporting, importing, and exporting goods. So there is no such thing as a slave ship. You know what I'm saying? So they're
Right.
looking for slave ships. No,
Right.
these ships were
Right.
transporting and exporting goods. So if I got
Right.
bread in my pocket and I got about, I don't know, maybe 75 to 100 slaves on this boat, plus I'm also transporting whatever this place of Africa, or actually what they was doing was taking them from Africa going up into England and Europe and any
Right.
Arabic country, putting things on and bringing it over across the pond to the
Right.
Americas. If I have any of that type to export, but I got like 100 slaves on board, then trust me, these people didn't see the slaves. They saw what I
No.
was exporting, because I'm gonna hit them off with a couple of dollars, and they ain't
Right.
gonna. Nobody would be the wiser. So there is no slave ships, and it's amazing. It's as smart as people think they are today, that y'all ain't think that's what they was doing back in the day.
Right. Still doing. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, look at those container ships. They still doing. Is that something? It's just they on the radar with it. Human trafficking and all that. You think how you think they're doing it? They're doing it with those container ships.
Right.
With all the
It's
other
human.
all other manufacturers on there.
Yeah, it's human trafficking. That's what it is.
Right.
So with all the
Right.
technology, y'all blind as hell today. So what you think y'all were 400 years ago?
Exactly. Right. Right. Oh yeah. But like I said, they sitting there knowing that these people knowing that they got X amount of slaves coming. They can't even sleep. They itching for a scratch. They know these slaves coming. You know what I mean? Women, they can't wait.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what we throw it off at. Oh yeah.
Shalom. May I
Okay.
ask a question? I'm thinking I got the answer on it. Is that once they were doing that back then, they were getting taxed on their cargo on their products. But if they knew that the people were under there, and they taught them, they said that this is our property, they would have got taxed on each individual that was down there. So I think um, as the years came about, they was taxing. They said if that's your property, you have to pay tax on it, and that's when the South and the North got this um, into the war. I believe it was because they wanted to tax their property and they didn't want them to make them pay for having slaves. Put taxes on the slaves, saying because you are claiming that's your property and all property has to be taxed. And I was reading up on that, so I put two and two together, and I think that's why the war started, not because they wanted to free the slaves. They didn't want to pay for the slaves. That's my take
What
on
you
that.
Taxes.
said?
They didn't want to pay the
What,
taxes.
They didn't want to
They
pay
didn't
right,
want to
but
pay the
taxes on the
taxes.
flag. Yes, sir.
right,
I'm
but
sorry.
they being as far as the government even today, like we talking about human trafficking. As far as the government and everybody, nobody know no slaves on there. You can't tax nothing if you don't know
That's
it's
what
on
we're
there.
saying.
They smuggling
Right.
them.
That's what we're talking about.
They're not being
Right.
taxed. They can't tax it. They don't even know they're there.
Yeah,
Right.
shalom.
This is what this is what they didn't understand. So this was going on so far back. Understand what piracy actually was. So
Right,
now, even till
exactly.
this day, you got certain
Right,
things called piracy rights. You don't think pirates, and pirates had nothing to do with what your nationality was. You was pirating.
right,
So there was a
right,
lot of pirates that was actually moving cargo, i.e.,
right,
you know what I mean, slaves from one area to another. There was pirates that was
right,
moving slaves
right,
from North
right,
America to the Caribbean. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
For
And
plantation
vice
owners,
versa. Yeah.
for
So
plantation owners.
right, you see what I'm saying? So there was a lot of moving and shaking going on even back then
Right,
when
exactly.
when America was quote unquote great. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? No pun on Trump or anything, but this is when they was like, yo, we was, they were
Right,
doing what they wanted to do. So there was no
right,
laws really, what I'm saying, that was implemented to protect any of our kind. You know what I'm
right,
saying? And because what their taxes were and things of that nature, because they wanted to create a certain society, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. But at the same time, those people were still saying, who do you think you are? To the
exactly.
so-called whites that thought that they had more authority on the other whites. So it was still like, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? So that's what it was all about. But still, at the end of the day, it ain't had nothing to do with what our rights were.
Right,
Nothing to do with what our rights were. You know,
exactly.
that it's a very complex web that was weaved by these Illuminati quote unquote bankers
Yeah,
even back
right,
then. Like their understanding was crazy. Their usury,
yeah,
their understanding of usury was
right,
crazy. It's all demonic. It's all evil.
right. And then on top of that, they got the whole world fooled on who these people are. They knew they were. They knew they were. They knew they was children of God, Israelites. They knew that. That's the world. Like even today, they the ones. They don't understand the significance of it, but they knew. Yeah.
Hey Leonard, there's a registry, right? That still got the quote unquote names
Right.
of
It's
the
called.
people that came across, right? There's still that, right? I look at that registry sometimes and feel some type of way that the names were there. The
Yeah,
names,
yeah,
these were
right.
Hebrew names coming out of
Right.
Africa.
Exactly. Right. They knew that. Exactly. So they got. There's no excuse. But you see manifest itself, and when it comes to a head, and the judgment comes, it ain't no. There's no need to be feeling sorry because they came into this eyes wide open. So they know, and they knew his repercussions to what they were doing. Now that's coming into play. They're trying to do everything they can to stop it, but they can't. Anybody else got anything on that? We got some current events right here. Okay.
Get ready, because today we're talking about a tough situation that's got Britain in a bind like never before. Our story starts in Britain, a place known for Buckingham Palace, Big Ben, and lots of tea. But now, there's a big problem that's making news around the world. They are talking about a big money mess in Britain. It's so bad that it's like they're closing on the edge of a financial disaster. Local leaders in Birmingham, the second largest city in the UK, are in a really tough spot. They might have to say they can pay their bills because they owe a huge amount of money, about £760 million, because of something called equal pay liability. It's a kind of money problem that would even make proper British folks worry. But don't worry, we're going to figure out this money mystery. We'll find out how Birmingham got into this mess, what it means for the rest of the UK, and if there's any hope to fix it. So get ready for a journey that will have you sipping your tea and wondering, how did Britain get into this tricky situation? But before we go on, please click the like button and subscribe to Tech Revolution for more updates like this. With that said and done, let's now get this video rolling. So let's talk about what's happening. Birmingham, which is the second largest city in Britain, is having a really tough time with their money, and they have to do some big things to try and fix it. Some reports say they've said they don't have enough money and can't spend on things that aren't super important because they have to pay a lot of money to some people. This money they have to pay is as much as $956 million, which is a huge amount. CNN says this money problem comes from them owing a lot of money to some people because they didn't pay them fairly. The Birmingham City Council, which is like the group that makes decisions for the city, is also worried because they don't have enough money for this year. They are short of about $109 million. The council is really worried that they might have to pay even more money, which could be as much as $760 million. The person in charge of the council, Sharon Thompson, is saying that the Conservative Party, which is the political group running the country, took away a lot of money from Birmingham in the past. To deal with this money problem, the leaders of Birmingham have decided to stop spending on most things that are not very important. They are calling this an emergency break. But guess what? Birmingham is not the only city having this kind of financial challenge. There are many other cities in the same situation. Sharon Thompson wants everyone to know that even though they have this money problem, Birmingham is staying strong and open for business. They're not giving up, even though things look bad. There is also someone from the Prime Minister's team saying that it's the job of the City Council to manage their money properly, so they need to figure things out. So while the City Council is being careful with their money and the Prime Minister's team is giving them advice, Birmingham is trying their best to get through this.
So I was telling you that we talked about the other day, France in the same predicament. You think it don't have nothing to do with what's going on with these coups in West Africa? That's where they're getting all their money from. Now that these people cutting them off, now you see what's happening. They have no resources over there in these lands where they have no resources. They've been sucking Africa and those countries dry all these years, and now that these people setting up and you cut them off, you see what's happening to them. It's the same thing we just reading about in France happening in Great Britain, and if you start googling stuff and check it out, in Germany too, all of them capsizing. Okay, and they grasping for straws. Here go another example right here. I always talking about the Road Belt Initiative.
Sizing the Belt and Road Initiative. And despite all this, 90 nations have confirmed attendance for the Belt and Road Forum. This tells how much nations trust China and how aware they are of Western lies. The number of countries in the Belt and Road Initiative is increasing, and the day is not far away when nations will become a part of the collaboration. But if the Belt and Road Initiative is beneficial and countries want to be a part of it, why is the West criticizing it? The Western reason to criticize the initiative has shocked the experts because of how incorrect their claims are about the initiative. But do the Western claims matter? Let's find out. Welcome back to another exciting episode of our channel. Innovation Diary brings you China's innovation stories, projects, and growing influence in different parts of the world. If you are new to the channel and enjoy learning about fast-paced modernity, especially China's development and growing power, you will find our videos intriguing. In this video, we will discuss why the Western world criticizes the Belt and Road Initiative. We will also talk about how the initiative is attracting all the countries. Watch the video till the very end to know if the Belt and Road Initiative is a cause of Western jealousy. Let's get started. China's Belt and Road Initiative has emerged as a defining global project in the past decade. As the world gears up for the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation to be held in October, it's evident that the BRI is not just surviving, but succeeding. With 90 countries already confirming their participation in this landmark event, the Belt and...
Guys, do your daughter a favor this year by getting her a
So everybody's talking about the BRICS conference. Nobody ain't talking about this.
celebrate its 10th anniversary in grand style. This infrastructure and investment project, spanning across Asia, Europe, and Africa, has garnered support from different corners of the globe. The Belt and Road Initiative is a massive project led by China. Its goal is to create an extensive network of roads, railways, ports, and other infrastructure projects connecting regions in Asia, Europe, and Africa. Over the past 10 years, this initiative has not only transformed physical connectivity, but also fostered economic cooperation and diplomatic ties across borders. China's proactive outreach efforts have resulted in cooperation agreements with more than 150 countries and over 30 international organizations, emphasizing the Belt and Road Initiative's global acceptance and commitment to collaboration on infrastructure development. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin recently highlighted the initiative's significant achievements during a press conference. Over the past decade, more than 3,000 cooperation projects have been established, attracting nearly $1 trillion in investments. These statistics highlight the sheer scale and ambition of China's efforts to boost global connectivity and trade. The 90 countries that have confirmed their participation in the upcoming...
So this right here, what you listening to right here, this is what makes sense. When you understand all this, then you see what makes sense with what the brother was saying the other day about when Russia got him over there and trying to get him established with some reparations for African Americans over here. They need us over there. They don't. I mean, that's what all this about.
Belt and Road Forum represent a diverse collection of nations, each with its unique interests and expectations. Among the prominent foreign leaders expected to attend are Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić and Argentine President Alberto Fernandez. Additionally, Russian President Vladimir Putin's scheduled visit to China in October, when the One Belt, One Road Forum takes place, highlights the importance of this initiative. The presence of leaders from such diverse regions highlights the global significance of the BRI as a platform for dialogue and partnership. This conference offers participating nations an opportunity to reaffirm their support for the initiative, share their experiences, and explore new avenues of cooperation. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos about China's development, power, and influence on the world. Let's continue now. While the Belt and Road Initiative's achievements are undeniable, it has not been without its share of criticism and concerns from the Western side. Some people argue that the Belt and Road Initiative primarily serves as a means for China to expand its geopolitical and economic influence on a global scale. Concerns have been raised about the potential debt burdens placed on participating countries and the strategic implications of China's growing infrastructure dominance. One of the most significant debates has taken place in Western countries, where there is ongoing concern about the economic dependence on China resulting from participation in the Belt and Road Initiative. This debate has raised questions about the long-term implications for trade and investment relations with Beijing. Italy, as the sole group of 7 nations actively participating in the Belt and Road Initiative, has faced internal criticism for its involvement, highlighting the polarized views on the initiative within the G7. However, according to the stats, the Belt and Road Initiative has provided more benefits to the world than any other collaboration did. There is no evidence of huge debt. The amount of debt China gives is what a business allows. Instead of exploiting the nations, China does business with them, unlike the US. So despite these debates and concerns, the BRI continues to gain momentum on the global stage. China's outreach efforts, coupled with tangible infrastructure projects and investments, have...
Yeah, so this is what's going on. It's coming together. And you see, as it come together, you see the West is being denigrated. It's just a matter of time. It's like I said, it's a controlled demo. You're gonna know when they're able to stand on all 4 feet. Because when they stand on all 4 feet, that's when they're gonna finish the job with the West. They're just dragging them along right now. When they finally get be able to stand up on all 4 feet, that's it. Place gotta go. And what you're looking at is these Edomite bankers, like I said, from behind the scenes, they've been dictating everything going on in the world for the longest. But the Lord is showing them what an international banker really can do. Okay? If there's some, any comments? Okay. So
Somebody
yeah,
else got something? Yeah. So this is how it normally would work. Like this is what people don't. So they keep stressing us about oh, we're heading to World War III. We're heading to World War III and things of that nature. People don't understand we already in it.
exactly.
We've been in it. And
Right.
the most important thing about war is the first thing you do is cut off the supply line.
Exactly.
So if you're now looking at the biggest continent that is making its connections with these other nations that are west of it, right? They're cutting off the supply line to the westernized nations, i.e. America. So they're taking everything that is America out of the equation. They're cutting off the supply. And that's how that's the first part of war. So you know what I'm saying? That's the first part of any situation in war. You surround that nation if you want that. You stop their ability to be maneuverable. So this is what's
Right.
going on right now. So people ain't understanding that that's what we're dealing with because
Exactly.
they're puffed up in their consciousness
Right.
as to what America is according to what America told them they are. But these people have been sitting here with their think tanks years upon decades, understanding, well, how do we stop this flow that
Right.
America has been monetizing off of? And this is the war that's actually taking place right now.
Right.
So they're shutting it down.
Oh yeah. Right. They trying, like I said, they send out all this propaganda, which that ain't working no more. And the putting those sanctions on people, that ain't working. It's all everything they do is falling apart. They this bull crap propaganda about the Rolling Belt Initiative, trying to run all the countries away from that. And the people looking at it, it ain't working. They just
Exactly.
dwindling it away. And everybody's sitting thinking that it's all hell gonna break loose. Once they totally out the picture, you're not gonna be able to stay where you at. You're gonna have to leave.
Right. So that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it now. So now here it go. They got people thinking that this whole election nonsense because Trump is so high in the polls. Let me tell you
Right.
something. Ain't nothing he could do. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So now
Yeah.
this is the beauty of this soap opera that they putting in front of us. Because guess what now Trump's going to say? Y'all shouldn't have did all of this to me. Y'all should have elected me and not Biden. I could have done something. No, you couldn't have. No, you
Right.
couldn't have. This is soap opera. This is drama. This is TV. This is Law and Order that y'all putting in our face. This is a TV series. You couldn't have done nothing. Whether you was elected then and whether you elected now, there's nothing you could do.
Right. Exactly. You're on stage. You get something? Yeah. Check this out. I don't think nobody's really familiar with this either. This is a serious problem right here.
Johnny, you there? Everybody's here. There's Ted. Okay, great. And John Hogan may join us later. I'm going to go ahead and get us started if I could. First, I'd like to set the stage, if I might, because the United States is in the midst of a border crisis like nothing we've ever seen before. And the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, in case the White House missed it, in their own executive summary, lists the fact, this is the 2024 executive summary for the Department of Homeland Security's threat assessment of the United States. It lists the fact that they expect illegal drugs purchased in Mexico and sold to the United States will continue to kill more Americans than any other threat. This is from the Department of Homeland Security's executive summary. I encourage you all to read it. It's a threat that we all feel. In my home state of Tennessee, we're losing people every day to fentanyl.
Is there a hidden camera spying on you right now?
More encounters of people on the terrorist watch list than ever before coming across the border. In fact, well over 170 different nationalities have been apprehended crossing the border illegally since Joe Biden took office. We have a national security threat of epic proportions in our border. Yet at the same time, this White House is so unserious about it that they're actually proposing to defund ICE as a condition to continue to keep the government open beyond September 30th. If you don't believe me, take a look at page 51 of the language that's appended to their, quote, clean CR. On page 51, it gives them the authority to reprogram all of ICE's funding, over $8 billion, to reprogram that and turn ICE into a resettlement agency. All of these funds can be reprogrammed to more rapidly push people into America. Instead of buying plane tickets to send people that have come here illegally, often many of them with violent criminal records, instead of buying plane tickets to send them back to their home country, ICE will now be buying plane tickets to send them to a town near you or me. This is egregious. It's got to stop, and I'm glad that my colleagues have joined me today to bring attention to what's happening at our southern border. And with that, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Senator John Barraza.
Joe Biden has surrendered our southern border. He surrendered it to drug dealers, criminal cartels, and gang members. We're still waiting the numbers from last month, but it looks like it's going to be an all-time high, a record-breaking month of over 250,000 illegal immigrants coming into the United States. They get here and then they vanish. That's what we're dealing with in the United States today. This is a billion-dollar criminal cartel who is flooding our border, our southern border, with illegal immigrants and deadly drugs. Criminals are coming from all around the world: Africa, the Middle East, and China. It used to be that border states and border cities were some places in Texas or some places in Arizona. No, not anymore. The city council in Chicago and the mayor of New York have actually said that their own cities are being destroyed by the illegal immigrants who continue to come. And remember, these are sanctuary cities. Every state in the country has been impacted by this. My home state of Wyoming, the fentanyl deaths, major death is a killer. Fentanyl is a major killer all across the United States. And what does our incompetent president and the Democrats in the Senate do? They keep their heads buried in the sand. As we've just heard from Senator Haggerty, now they want to defund ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. What do they want to do with the money? They want to set up a welcome wagon to set up housing and services for those folks. The Republicans have a much better idea: Secure the Border Act in 2023. That legislation includes the technology, the manpower, and the physical barrier that we need. That's what we need to do to protect our communities, provide safety in America, and actually secure our border. And now, says Senator Johnson. Okay, Senator Abbott.
Yeah. I want to thank Senator Haggerty for calling us together and joining my colleagues here to talk about an issue that is front and center on just about every American's mind. It is true. This is a 50-state problem. The fentanyl problem in my state is particularly difficult. It touches families. It touches old, young, husbands, wives, sons, and daughters in a very, very tragic, with very tragic results. And you saw the numbers that came out just recently. Those numbers are going up. It was 111,000 lives were lost to overdoses last year. That is up from the year before. So it's very stunning. When you think about the border, our West Virginia National Guard just joined the Texas National Guard on Operation Lone Star on the border and near Eagle Pass. And basically, the impressions that I got after talking with them, the word that was repeated often from all of them was how shocked they were at the situation, how out of control the situation is. And so hats off to the state of Texas for what they're doing in our other border states, because they've got a really, really tough with no support or very little. But I think as you look at,
is it? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about your blood?
For the reasons you've already heard. I won't dwell on the numbers, even though they stagger the
This was
imagination.
4 or 5 hours
As
ago.
many as 7 million illegal border encounters since President Biden became president. But let's talk about the 108,000 dead Americans. Think about those Americans who died as a result of drug overdoses or fentanyl poisoning. Think about their families. And then think about the 300,000 children, the unaccompanied children placed with sponsors, many of whom are not even related to them, that the Biden administration has simply lost track of. The New York Times has written several investigative pieces, one yesterday, documenting forced child labor. We don't know whether these children are being trafficked for sex, whether they're going to school, whether they're getting an education, or whether they're just being abused and neglected. Now, when I think about these numbers, 7 million, 108,000, 300,000, I think, what is it going to take to get the Biden administration's attention? And I've concluded, sadly, that he just doesn't care. He doesn't care. Because if he did care, he would do something about it. But it's not the president's responsibility initially to move legislation through the Congress. That happens in the Senate and the House. Have you seen the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee mark up a border security or immigration bill? Now, thank goodness our House colleagues have done so and passed it out of the House.
As chairman of Homeland Security, back there in 2014 when Obama declared a humanitarian crisis, when as many as 2,000 people were crossing the border a day. This administration won't even bring itself to call this a problem. They call it a challenge, and their solution is just getting far more efficient at encountering, don't even call it apprehensions anymore, encountering, processing, and dispersing well over 5.5 million people, which is a population greater than, more than half the states have a population less than that 5.5 million people. That's the magnitude of the problem. But you can see it's just graphic in terms of how this crisis has exploded under Joe Biden. And it's also obvious that under President Trump, without real help from Democrats in Congress here, we pretty well solved the problem. We pretty well eliminated the illegal immigration of unaccompanied children and family units exploiting our asylum laws, which means we dramatically decrease the human depredations of the illegal flow. Today, my last trip in the border, I've gotten to know what Texas is sending, or these buses that are being set up by Governor Abbott. That's a fraction of what is coming. It's like maybe 10% of the number of migrants that are migrants who cross illegally who are coming to these cities. So the question I want to ask, if 10% came because the governor of Texas sends them these illegal migrants to your city, but 90% come because the Biden administration did it, why are you saying, Biden administration, it's your fault? What are you doing? And not just saying, give us more financial aid and so on and so forth. Why aren't you shut?
So these Republicans declared a state of emergency. That's how bad this got. I mean, you can look around. If you live in America, you can see all these people it's just an infestation. So we got all kind of issues, and then not only that, got the shutdown coming up. You coming?
Say it again, Leonard. What'd you just say? It's a what?
Infestation.
Uh-huh. Pestilence.
Right.
Pestilence.
Yeah. And there's some, mm, there's something. And like I said, people just sitting back and they can't see. It's some that's definitely got something about to give. It's gonna be some serious repercussions getting ready to manifest itself. Yeah, it ain't going away. Mm-hmm. So I want to check that out. Yeah, it's Senate Republicans demand immediate changes to Biden's border policies. Yeah. So with that being said, I was gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything? I think I'm gonna read a chapter 2 out of Isaiah. Anybody have any questions or comments about what we was talking about earlier or yesterday or something they came across they want to talk about, discuss?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna read out of Isaiah. I think it's chapter 30, 39, I think it is. Okay. I think it is. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start reading out of chapter 49. It's listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken, ye people from afar, for the Lord hath called me from the womb, from the bowels of my mother hath he made mention of my name, and he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand have he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver have he hid me, and said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work with my God. And now, said the Lord, that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him. Though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my God shall be my strength. And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribe of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, and that thou mayest be my salvation unto the ends of the earth. And thus said the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despises, to him whom the nations abhor, and to his servant of rulers. Kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship because of the Lord that is faithful, and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall uh, choose thee. Thus said the Lord, in an acceptable time have I heard thee, and in a day of salvation have I helped thee, and I will preserve thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, to establish uh, the earth, and to cause inheritance the desolate heritages, that thou mayest say to the prisoners, Go forth, to them that are in darkness, show yourselves. They shall feed in the ways, and their pastures shall be in all high places. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor the sun smite them. For he that hath mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. And I will make all my mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted. Behold, these shall come from afar, and lo, these from the north, and from the west, and those from the land of Sinim. Sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains, for the Lord hath comforted his people, and will have mercy upon his afflicted. But Zion said, the Lord hath forsaken me, and my Lord hath forgotten me. Can a woman forget her suckling child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee. Behold, I have uh, graven thee unto the palms of my hand. Thy walls are continually before me. The children shall make haste. Thy daughters, thy destroyers, and they that made thee waste shall go forth of thee. Lift up thine eyes round about, and behold, all these gather themselves together and come to thee. As I live, said the Lord, thou shalt surely clothe thee with them all as with an ornament, and bind them on thee as a bride doeth. For thy waste and thy desolate places, and the land of thy destruction shall even now be too narrow by reason of the inhabitants, and they that swallow thee up shall be far away. The children which thou shalt have after thou hast lost the others shall say again in thine ears, the place is too straight for me. Give place for me that I may dwell. Then shalt thou say in thine heart, who hath begotten me these, seeing I have lost my children and am desolate, a captive, and removing to and fro, and who have brought up these? Behold, uh, I was left alone. These where had they been? Thus said the Lord God, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried on their shoulders, and kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and thy queens thy nursing mothers. Excuse me. They shall bow down to thee with their faces toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. Shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? But thus saith the Lord, even the captive of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contendeth with thee, and I will save thy children, and I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine, and all flesh shall know that I, the Lord, am the Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. So that was Isaiah 49. Any comments on that? Questions?
Just say that's a mouthful.
Okay.
That's a lot. It's a lot of it's a lot going on with there, and uh it ain't black and white. It ain't easy to connect them dots. I can
Right.
say that. You know. One thing I'm a link on something, because when I was doing my thing reading this back in the days, I would always question what's that verse? Um it's dealing with, he said about palms. Verse 16,
Okay.
right? Verse 16, it says, behold, I have I have graven thee upon thy palm of my hand. I have graven thee upon thy palm of my hand. Thy walls are continually before me. So I always would look at that back in the days. I would read it, you know what I'm saying? a little inebriated, to be honest with you,
Okay.
and see the word Psalms.
Okay.
And then it started to click in my mind. Well, Psalms and Palms are very synonymous with the understanding because a palm is a very serious thing. This is why men shake hands because there's an agreement, there's a covenant being made
Right.
when I shake your hand because your palm is meeting my palm.
Right.
So there's a certain respect now that has to be made. A true enemy or a true, deceiver is not gonna shake the hand. So enemies could shake hands even, but a deceiver, he's not looking forward to shaking your palm or your song. So, I will always, that's maybe neither here nor there, or maybe have a lot to do with a lot of things. But I will always, when I would read that, I'd be like, yo, he says, you know what I'm saying? Behold, I have graven thee upon my palm of my hand. Thy walls are continuously before thee. So that's something that's being, it's a covenant made. The only way I could ever understand righteousness between people is through a covenant. That's the only way me till this day understands what righteousness means is through covenants.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know what I mean? That's just my perception of it.
Keeping your word.
Uh,
Keeping your word.
yes, yes, sir. You know what I mean?
Right.
Keep, and the palm has a lot to do with that.
Right.
Psalms has a lot to do with that, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well. I was going to go down another road with that too. So if you look at that, it says, "Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hand. Thy walls are continuously before me." So he's talking to Jerusalem, right? The nation of Israel and Jerusalem, especially Jerusalem. So if you go to which I always go here, Daniel. Like I said, the day of the Lord has happened over and over again. Israel was in like uh 13 to 14 different captivities because of their disobedience. So if you go to let me get this. Uh, yeah, Daniel 9:25.
9:25. Got you.
Yeah. So take in mind, he's dealing with Jerusalem, right? So Daniel 9:25. And this is what I was saying about when you understand they killed JC. So he says, "Know therefore and understand," right? So this verse talking about Jerusalem, just like what we just read. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem, see that? Unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks. They in captivity in Babylon. And 62 weeks, look at this, and the street shall be built again, and the wall. Same thing we just read.
Right.
So he's saying, so when you say what you're talking about, now I go to, and I always bring this up. So Judges, chapter 3. Judges chapter 3. So it says right here, and like I say, if you're a nut bucket, if you don't want to deal with this, chapter 2 of Judges, verse 1. And the angel of the Lord came up from Gilgal to Beckham and said, like you were just talking, I made you to go up out of Egypt, and I have brought you into the land which I swore unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you. Like you said, it's all about covenant. But look who it is that got the covenant. And
Right.
so what is he saying? Jerusalem is always going, the walls of Jerusalem will always be before me.
Hmm.
If they built, I'm gonna maintain them. If they've been tore down, I'm gonna build them back up.
Hmm. And so
When they got, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. Sorry. My
So
bad.
we got Cyrus. So we got Cyrus told, and Cyrus made the proclamation, which is Daniel 9:25. We're gonna go back and rebuild the walls. But look at the other part. at Mount Sinai. He engraved on stone and gave it to them for a covenant. But what he said he gonna do? He gonna engrave it on their hearts.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Leonard. So do me a favor. Go deeper. Go deeper right quick for me. Go to the scripture where Michael standing on the waters and he put his hands up. He put his hands up.
Okay, that's Deuteronomy 32.
Deuteronomy 32.
Yeah, I might be able, but let me see. I
Let's
think it's
go there.
Deuteronomy 32.
Huh?
Yeah, Deuteronomy 32.
I want to go there right quick. Deuteronomy 32.
Yeah, for starting at 39.
That's what yeah, that thing bothers me bad. Um, yeah, that bothers me big time. That so Deuteronomy 32 and what?
39. Start at 39.
Started 39. It says, see now that even he,
Even I am he. Oh, gone. Okay, yeah, I'll read it. It says, see now that even I am he. There is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hands. For I lift up my hands to heaven, and I say, I live forever. And 41, if I, with my glistening sword in my hands, take hold of judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies, and I will reward them that hate me. Okay. Yeah, I think Mike went into the matrix. Okay. Anybody else got anything or comments about anything? Let's see if Mike come back for a minute.
Shalom. I apologize. You were reading Deuteronomy 39 and 19?
No,
I
that was
mean,
32.
Deuteronomy
32.
32.
That verse,
Okay.
starting at verse 39, it
Okay.
identifies that the person is not Yahweh because he's stretching his hands to heaven to Yahweh. So it ain't Yahweh.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. And all same thing in Daniel chapter 12. The man is standing on the water. He's stretching his hands under heaven. So it can't be the creator. Because whoever it is, he's stretching his hands. He's like I said, these angels ain't doing nothing no different than what we doing. What they got us doing, they doing. So he stretched forth his hands. Like I said, the man that Daniel saw in chapter 10, he girded about with a golden girdle, and he got a white garment on with a golden girdle, real gold, not no fake gold, around his waist. And when we see David doing the same thing, when David came in the city, when he brought the ark in the city, he got the same thing on, danced out his clothes. And that's the picture that we're not getting, that they hid from us because we ain't, we're not dealing with addressing the scriptures from an Israelite perspective, with an Israelite mind. We're dealing with it from what these Gentiles did to the scriptures in Egypt. And when they concocted all these council of Nicaea and all that bull crap, we trying to read it and deal with it from that perspective when it has nothing to do with it. Okay. Anybody else got anything? I think Mike having some technical problems or something. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're gonna close it off right there, and You got the women's line, women's advanced Bible study tomorrow night at starting at 8 o'clock, and the men can come in through the YouTube channel. So until then, I see everybody at 8 o'clock for our women's advanced Bible study. Okay. Shalom. I see y'all
Shalom,
tomorrow.
everyone.
Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.
Okay.